Good evening and welcome to Tetrakey, Tetrakey Live. My name is Mark Hopkins. It is 9 o'clock in South Africa. Just had a good conversation with Rob, who is having a great day in Seattle, trying not to get arrested as he's making some videos for something we're very excited that's going to be coming out very, very soon. So yeah, he's busy there and I'm very, very busy here. So as per usual, it is please share, please like, please go and listen to the podcast, watch on YouTube, look at our Facebook page and read some of our blogs and give us feedback. And that's the normal ticket to the game. The other bit that we are very excited is obviously our second book is now out and about, accelerating your business performance, and it's something that Rob and I are really, really proud of. It's a 25 chapter of really practical things that you can do in your business, in your life, just to really make a transition. It's not a book that we recommend you reading cover to cover. We recommend you just having a look at it, picking out a topic that's important to you at this time. Have a read of the introduction and then set yourself a task of actually going ahead and doing some of these activities. As with a lot of these things, there's benefit in doing the reading, but there's a hell of a lot more benefit in doing the doing. So don't be scared of trying it. And again, if you've got any feedback or comments or anything that support that you need, please drop Rob or I a message and we'll be really, really happy to help where we can. So that's the book, Accelerating Business Performance. Very exciting. Had a really good trip in London in the UK. Had some very cool meetings, some good conversations, and some R&R time, which was very important. My liver needs a little bit of a rest. Hadn't been back home to an English pub for a couple of years, so it was very, very important to me that I got to taste a few of the new ales that now are in the UK. Tonight's topic is about rejection, and is it something to be scared of? And before we go into the content of the rejection, one of the cool things about my trip to London was getting feedback on some of the sessions and some of the topics that Rob and I have talked about. And I spoke to a couple who had been married for 37 years. The husband was 75 and the wife, I shall not reveal her age because it's an inappropriate thing to do. But they were watching some of the videos and some of the Facebook lives, and then completely impromptu they said, right, we're going to watch one and we're going to do the activity straight away. And they happened to watch the one where I talked about why does your partner love you? Which I think is quite a brave thing to do when you've been married for 37 years. So they sat there to listen to it, and then they actually spent some time looking and asking each other and sharing things about why they love each other. And it was just the feedback I got was incredible, because there were things that they'd completely forgotten about each other that they reminded themselves about, and it's sort of rekindled a 37-year relationship. So it's always nice to get those things that happen, and again, it's a nice introduction to rejection, because I think you can view a lot of what you do in business as being something that you're frightened of, because when you set and run your own business up, you're really putting yourself out there. It's your idea, it's your product, it's your IP, it's your personality, it's everything about you you're putting into the public domain. And the public are either accepting you or rejecting you. They're accepting you by purchasing your product, or they reject you by saying no. So it's a really, really fearful place to be, being a business owner, being a leader, and doing anything where you're putting yourself out in the public eye. And a lot of people shy away from that. So I'm sure we've all done it, where we've had to make a phone call to somebody, we're having to ask for something, either for a sale or a favour or whatever, and we're nervous in doing it because our brain and our mindset is always going to the scenario of they say no. So we've already moved past the actual conversation to the outcome that we're dreading the most, which is rejection. So we don't actually pick the phone up because in our head we already know what's going to happen. Which is an interesting way to look at it, because actually you've never actually going to achieve anything, and then when you're having that conversation, you're so scared of what you think is the inevitable that you come across with fear. You don't come across in a way that actually the person you're trying to influence or convince to purchase actually really understands what you're trying to do or believes in the message that you're actually trying to portray. Because like I said, your mindset's already gone into how do I avoid the worst case scenario, which is rejection. So how about you view the conversation in a slightly different way? Instead of viewing the conversation in a fearful place or contemplating the fact that you might get the no, think about what you actually want to achieve out of the conversation. Think about the learning opportunities that might come out of whatever scenario you find yourself in. So let's play an idea out. You're going in to sell your value proposition to a customer, and your aim is to get a sale. You want a yes. Now, instead of going into that conversation with I want a sale, why not have that as a secondary thought? Why not have your primary thought as, I want to learn as much as possible about how people perceive my value proposition. So how somebody's going to perceive my value proposition is the primary aim. So if you go through those kind of conversations and everything happens, then imagine the scenario where they turn around and they go, no. Now, when people reject something, what's our natural inclination? We'll either run away from it and go, okay, fair enough, or we push and we say, why not, or we say, please, 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 please. What we don't actually do is ask the following question. What is it about my value proposition that I could present differently that would make a different impression to the next time I have a conversation? So what you're doing is you're actually asking that person to give you feedback, not just on your proposition, but how you present it. And what's happened when I've done this before in conversations is they've then articulated what their blocker is to why they're actually said no. And you can use that as an opportunity to revisit that original blocker and maybe paint your value proposition a slightly different way that makes that blocker an irrelevance in that person's eye. As they start talking about your proposition, so again, as they start talking about your proposition, what they're actually doing is they're starting to convince themselves about the need of your value proposition to them. So you're actually getting 2 or 3 things out of this kind of thing. You're getting an understanding of how people hear what you say is your value proposition. Okay, not what is your value proposition, but what they hear you say is your value proposition. So these are the triggers that they've picked up in your sales pitch. So firstly, you learned that. And if you start asking the same question to 3 or 4 people, you start learning a lot about your presenting style and your value proposition in those eyes. Second thing, you start understanding very quickly what they are finding is a negative part of your value proposition, which is hindering them from saying, yes, I want to purchase. So you understand that, either to then tackle in the same conversation or to use as a follow-up in a secondary conversation. The third thing you're getting is you're actually changing your conversation from a supplier-purchaser conversation, from a buyer-seller conversation, to an actual sharing conversation around peers. They're helping you with their proposition. You're starting to get a very, very different relationship. They're not seeing you as someone who's selling to them. They're starting to see you as somebody who's interested in what their thoughts are towards you. Now, it sounds quite a subtle difference, but it's a significant difference in how they are viewing you as an individual and viewing your product. They're not viewing you and your product as someone who's trying to push something time and time again. You're actually interested in them as a customer, as a consumer, and you're seeing how you can adapt your value proposition to meet their needs. Having done that a few times, I've now changed how I view conversations, because I don't go into conversations with a desired outcome. Now, Rob and I, on a few occasions, we go and speak to potential clients, we speak to business owners, and we're not going into those conversations hoping that we will end up working with them. We're going in to understand their business and help them understand us a little bit better, and helping to build up a relationship that makes them want to work with us rather than us wanting to work with them. Now that takes the whole fear of rejection completely out the window. So I'm going to leave you with a thought. I'd like you to think about your next conversation you're having tomorrow. A conversation that you think has the potential to have a negative outcome in your mind, i.e. a no. Be it a meeting request, be it a salary rise, be it a sale, whatever the conversation is that you're going into. It has a meaningful outcome for you. I want you to prepare for that meeting or that phone call with a completely different outtake. I want you to set yourself a target of getting at least 2 or 3 pieces of learning from that person you're conversing with about either you, your product, or the content of the conversation. You're not going in there for a yes or a no. You're going in there to learn about you. You're going there to learn about your proposition. Then you cannot lose, because you're getting something back that you can use at a later date. So it is a win-win situation for you. I guarantee you do that, you will not be fearful. I guarantee the conversation you will have will be more enlightening. The confidence you will have in those conversations will go up another level, because you have nothing to be scared of. So that thought, I'm going to wish you a great evening. Probably me again tomorrow night, as Rob is busy with keeping himself busy, enjoying the Seattle countryside and working hard. I will be coming off the hockey pitch, running off the hockey pitch tomorrow night to come and speak to you guys, and then Rob will be with you on Wednesday night as I'm working with a client. So I wish you a great evening. Please download the book and give us some feedback. It's the way that we keep going, so we really appreciate that, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Good night.